All right, this next song is actually a song of mine. It's from my new record called Night Owl, and it's called Right Down to the Wire.
This wild heart inside of me, it's made mistakes, but it's made me free. And it's pushing something through my veins, like the wind across the western plains. It might take a year, might take a day, yeah, it might get lost along the way, like waves crashing on the shore. Over and over I keep coming back for more. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, the wind is gonna blow like it's looking for a home, and each drop of rain will fall until it hits the ground alone. And when lightning strikes, it's bound to set the night on fire. I live my life like it's right down to the wire. Why do I live my life like it's right down to the wire? Each day I walk a country mile, yeah, pouring these boots out with a smile. So I'll take my chance and bide my time till the next ride comes on down the line. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, the wind is gonna blow like it's looking for a home, and each drop of rain will fall until it hits the ground alone. And when lightning strikes, it's bound to set the night on fire. I live my life like it's right down to the wire. But why do I live my life like it's right down to the wire? Each time I think I've reached the end, the sun comes up and I start again. But I have to follow where it leads, in this wild heart inside of me. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, the wind is gonna blow like it's looking for a home, and each drop of rain will fall until it hits the ground alone. And when lightning strikes, it's bound to set the night on fire. I live my life like it's right down to the wire. Oh, why do I live my life like it's right down to the wire?
All right, now that one was called Right Down to the Wire, and it was one of the first songs on my new record that kind of really, I had the idea of, I got a good recording of, and it really kind of became a cornerstone for what the entire record, Night Owl, would become. It was somewhat inspired by early Bob Dylan, and it's very conversational, but for every line that I talk about myself and what I might be feeling, there's some line about nature or the power of nature, you know, lightning, weather, wind, a wild wind across the plains. And I was trying to get that this kind of elemental something that drives us as people. The power of nature ties in with the power of our feelings and our passions about whatever we happen to be passionate about. I wrote this song with a buddy of mine named Logan Mize in Nashville. I go to Nashville a decent amount to write, and I have been for about 5 years. And I really like and respect Logan. He and I both write songs that are more mainstream country oriented, that we try to pitch to people, you know, whether it's Toby Keith or Leanne Womack or whoever else. But we also are really proud of our kind of singer-songwriter and personal music that we do. And we have a lot of the same influences. Actually, it's funny, Logan's publishing company is actually called Even the Losers Publishing, named after the Tom Petty song. But so Logan and I started talking about just surviving in life and how we love to travel in terms of making music and making a living doing it. The nature of being, you know, a little kind of pebble being brushed along in the highway is part of our lives in this world. And so we had this idea, and we just kind of slowly went line by line and tried to make each individual line poetic. One of the things I really love about songwriting is almost every idea I might come up with has probably been done already. So it's a matter of personalizing it or making it as great as possible. And I'm a big believer in the editing process, in taking like I really like getting as many lines down on paper as possible, and then coming back and saying, oh no, that one's a little too hokey. Nope, Smokey Robinson said that. Nope, Cole Porter said that. And with whatever's left, making each line, kind of taking my influences and just trying to be creative about coming up with an image or create a setup, raise a question, answer a question. One of the things I like about that song is it is very conversational, and it is kind of stream of consciousness, or it really kind of is a stream of consciousness thing. It's very first person narrative, and I feel this, I'm thinking about this is what I need. I talk about my actual boots, which have since been retired in the song. I like that the song kind of hangs out in one, it's in the key of E, and both the verse and the chorus really kind of start and end on E, which really kind of grounds it. If you think of some people's music, whether it's jazz or jazzy music, Paul Simon sometimes does it, Steely Dan does it, it feels kind of lofty, and it loses some people sometimes because there are so many chords with key changes. It takes so long to get back to the original feeling or to the original point. It ends up feeling a little too abstract. A lot of the music that I like and that I gravitate to is very simple, songs with a couple chords or 3 chords, or you know, this song has actually only 4 chords in it. And so we start in E, we end in E. The only thing that changes is this little pre-chorus. Whoa, 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 whoa. And it was actually Logan's idea to actually not have words there. Just let it be a melody and a mood. We had a lot of lyrics in each verse, and we're gonna have a lot more lyrics in the chorus. It's a lot of fast talking in the song. And so having this break where you can still feel the voice and the intensity of it, but not get any more kind of verbal information, I think is a cool thing about that song. That I think is one of the powerful things about it. Anyway, so as this song came to be, it really became a cornerstone for what the record would become, which is a lot of songs that are mellower in nature, more personal in nature. Not as many experiments with different genres. Like I'll often have records with like a blues tune and a soul tune and a rock tune and a it's being all over the map is one of the things that inspires me, trying to be myself in the midst of all these genres. And this one was a little more down home. One of the criticisms of some Nashville songwriting is sometimes it feels one-dimensional. I had a buddy of mine literally was telling me this morning on the phone, where if it wouldn't make a good bumper sticker, it's not going to make a hit country song. You just have to have that title that is so obvious and immediate, and you just spend every verse leading up to that title, which has a lot of song craft in it and a lot of wit, and of course, to understand the mainstream market the way a lot of those writers do, it's a real skill and a real gift. I, however, like a little more complexity in songs that I write and work on, especially if I'm going to be the one singing them. I want more than a punchline or a simple idea of, well, she's hot and let's take her home from the bar, kind of, or whatever the simple theme might be, or the simple bit of plot that might be going on, or I love my small town, don't mess with my small town. I think when I'm thinking about simple right now, it has more to do with the emotional complexity of a song. Not like every song needs to be a deep, dark, ultra-personal statement that's never been said before. Some of the greatest songs are, you know, What Becomes of the Brokenhearted, Let It Be. Like these very classic My Girl, these very classic ideas that we all immediately relate to. But I do gravitate to, you know, writers like Guy Clark and Bob Dylan and Chris Christopherson, people who have an element of simplicity, but a real element of complexity, and you don't really know what they're saying, or it's there are many sides to this issue, and let's talk about it in this song. And I wanted my new record to exhibit that. Also, when I go to Nashville, I like it. Some of the songs are meant to be simple and direct, and okay, if this is a goal, being cut by a mainstream artist, then great. But some of the songs and some of the writers I relate to in Nashville are comfortable going in any direction you want with a song. Some of my best experiences co-writing is when I either have the idea and the other person acts as an editor and a soundboard, or they really have an idea for what they want the song to be, and then I act as an editor or a soundboard. Hey, let's make the third verse do this, or hey, you know, we've kind of been there melodically, let's make the chorus go up. And having one person who, of course, gets the concept with you, but they're really helping with the craft, and being this kind of creative third ear is really the best thing. Then the songs feel more personal and real to me, rather than we met in the middle and we end up with a song that's well crafted but doesn't really mean anything to either one of us. So yeah, co-writing is something I love to do, and it's you know, I've had numerous co-writes on all of my records. I'm definitely not afraid of that. I don't think that it takes you away from who you are as a person. I love it when I get an idea for a song and then I can kind of bring it to fruition on my own. But some songs are just not meant to be that. And kind of accepting that, dealing with the editing process and the evolution of your songs, just makes me a little more sane, and lets the songs and the albums be a little more eclectic, remaining personal, but I think being a little broader in who they might appeal to, or hopefully being a little more universal. And when I sing something, you'll understand it and get it, and hopefully it'll mean something to you too.